Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Take 47. Today, episode 9, we are going to be jumping into a spicy hot topic.
Ooh.
This topic is about the man, the myth, the Merc without a mouth. Ryan Reynolds. You like that?
That's good. That was good.
Right now. And I'm quite impressed with that myself. So we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Ryan Reynolds, why people like him so much. Why is he suddenly...
He's quite a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's suddenly this big, household name. Like, wow, that Ryan Reynolds guy. He's pretty popular nowadays. So we're going to kind of, take a look into, his filmography and kind of figure out, just why. So without further ado, let's dolphin dive into this topic here. So, first off, I personally gotta get something out.
Oh boy, we are already taking stuff off the chest here.
Yep.
Gloves are coming off. Ryan, buddy, get ready.
No, I probably should have saved this for the end so that people would watch longer. I think Ryan Reynolds is a solid okay. Now before someone just dive bombs for the comments and it's like, oh my god, I cannot believe that you do not like Ryan Reynolds. Hang on a second. I love Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
Not even Detective Pikachu.
Actually, okay, yeah, that's true too. I actually really like Detective Pikachu. So 3 movies. I like him in 3 movies. But that is personally just me. I don't know if Cole shares the same opinion on it. Of course, he's here, so...
It's a really interesting point that you bring up of Ryan Reynolds not being the star that everyone knows him to be. But I gotta kind of agree with you there that now when I really analyze all the movies that I've seen him in, the majority of them are pretty bad.
Yeah?
Like out of all the Ryan Reynolds movies that I've seen... It really does come down to Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and Detective Pikachu, and I think Green Lantern is his biggest failure.
Yes, and I'm glad that in Deadpool 2, as the end credit scene, that whole thing is absolutely hilarious. Now don't get me wrong, I think Ryan Reynolds is very funny.
He's a great sport about all the bad movies.
Oh, absolutely. I love he is very, very funny when he is in the right situations. Personally, to me, and this will just be the brunt of the quote-unquote negativity, if you will, I just think he's Deadpool in every other movie. He is always just the same annoying...
He's just kind of a jackass.
Yeah, that's his character. His character's always this annoying, I'm gonna sit here and throw a bunch of pop culture references right into the camera because you know that I'm really big about Deadpool, and since I'm in this movie and you know me from Deadpool, I gotta kinda act like Deadpool. Hi, I'm Ryan. And everyone's like, oh my god, Ryan was so funny. He's literally being the same character.
It is no secret that Ryan Reynolds was, the biggest producer of the Deadpool movies.
Absolutely.
He poured his own time, money, and heart into those movies,
yep.
and it's really clear that he felt like he was Deadpool, and that's why he wanted to do it.
Absolutely.
And I'm really thankful that we have those movies because they were excellent.
Absolutely agree. And that segues into the positive aspects of Ryan Reynolds is that we have to thank him for Deadpool. Deadpool it's hilarious. The movies are hilarious. 1 and 2 are so funny, and he literally is Deadpool. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other actor, I think, on the planet that could play him as good as Ryan Reynolds does.
Yeah, I really can't imagine anyone else taking over that role.
No, not at all. And
except for maybe... Oh boy, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Except for maybe Tom Holland when he gets older.
Really?
I could see it, just because of the relationship that Spider-Man and Deadpool have in the comics, I could see Marvel trying to push Tom Holland and Ryan Reynolds to maybe switch parts for a day.
That'd be wild.
That would be kind of funny.
Can you imagine Spider-Man 3 has Deadpool in it?
Oh my god. You know what? That
Disney wouldn't have the gonads to put Deadpool in a PG-13 movie or Spider-Man in a rated R.
And you know what? I think you're absolutely right about that. And that's why we haven't seen a Deadpool 3 yet, because now that Marvel is... I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily because it's a Disney-owned property now, but they were already on the brink of making Deadpool 2 a PG-13 movie.
Yeah,
like they don't want to keep making rated R movies.
I mean, they technically did get their wish. They got the PG-13 Christmas one. Remember? Because it was Deadpool.
Holy crap! Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
They got a PG-13 version. The fight.
Holy shit!
It's the Virgin edition, I guess you could say. Just go full send. Yeah, because you got Deadpool 1. That everyone was like, come on, it can't be that violent. And then we were incredibly wrong, and we were like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then we got Deadpool 2, and we were like, wow, it is even worse and is funny.
We got our asses handed to us.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, a Deadpool Christmas. Oh, rated PG-13. And Deadpool's like, yeah, it's a PG-13 one. And it's like, wow, okay. So then you watch it, and you're like, wow, cool. Wow. What a great movie.
You could tell that Ryan Reynolds wasn't having the same amount of fun.
No, I don't think so either. I think the only time he actually had fun was the actual bits that they filmed for that, when he's sitting there telling the Christmas story to, oh my god, I forget his name, because it was supposed to be like a whole, like, Princess Bride thing, the kid who was lying in the bed.
No kidding. I gotta see this movie now.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember.
No,
it's like Fran... No, that's not his name. Yeah, just look up a Deadpool Christmas, and it should be,
see. Oh, Once Upon a Deadpool.
Oh, right, Once Upon a Deadpool, right, that was the name of it.
The fact that I'm not getting immediate Google results for this is really telling.
Yeah.
I think. Alright, here's the cast. Does that help you?
Oh, Fred Savage. That was what it was. I kept thinking it was like Frank Oz or something. No, Fred Savage. Savage. Okay. Yes, because it was a bit where Deadpool kidnaps Fred Savage and puts him in this cute little like children's bed, and Deadpool is telling him the story of Deadpool 2, just in a PG-13 format. Right. It was supposed to be like that whole thing, but unfortunately, really wasn't that great. I
don't know how much this movie made.
I don't know. I don't think Disney would really necessarily affect the rating, I'd say, too much, because Antlers, the Wendigo horror movie coming out.
Yeah.
That movie is rated R, and it is owned by Disney, technically, because...
And yeah, it doesn't seem like that would be... I don't think that Disney is the reason that Deadpool isn't being rated R.
But who knows? It could absolutely be a factor, because it's Marvel owned and not a single like one-off horror movie or anything, or just one-off movie in general. But
it's no secret that they want more family-friendly movies, because those make the most money.
Precisely, and that's just. I think everyone knows that's just a whole can of worms for another time. But Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, I mean, at this point, Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds are basically the same person.
That's very true. They're synonymous. He has two names.
I absolutely love his energy in every movie he's in. Like, hands down. When I was in, when I saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
With Jason Statham and Dwayne.
Movie, yeah.
Yeah. He was in it as an agent that knew Dwayne Johnson, and he does his whole like Deadpool-esque theme where he mentions the final season of Game of Thrones and mentions all these jokes and stuff that are very, very Deadpool-esque, and the only thing
always
that
gotta break the fourth wall.
Basically, he was like this close to breaking fourth wall, and the only thing that was missing was him wearing the Deadpool costume.
I don't think he can help it anymore. I think no. Ryan Reynolds just does it, and he doesn't even think about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but is it entertaining? Yes,
absolutely.
But it's kind of like the fun of seeing, hey, Ryan Reynolds, for me at least, kind of like dies off.
You know what you're getting into. Like, you already know the jokes before you even hear them.
Exactly.
Because they're so formulaic. And don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds is funny. He's absolutely funny. But it's predictable.
Now, at the same time, I don't know if we should blame him or blame the writers for specifically giving him Deadpool-esque dialogue so that way he can just be Ryan Reynolds in a movie.
You make a good point. The writers really, really do play to his strengths, is what it really is.
It's like
they know that he can deliver those lines, so they don't give him any other lines.
Precisely.
Any other type of lines.
And, it is kind of unfortunate because I don't think Deadpool's precisely what I say. Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds are the same. I don't think Ryan Reynolds is a bad actor. I just don't think he really has been given the only movie I can think of off the top of my head, 2 movies I can think of off the top of my head where he's semi-serious is 2010's Buried, where he's stuck in a casket, buried alive, and then Life with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, where they're on the spaceship and an alien is trying to kill him. The only thing is he had like 2 minutes of screen time because they showed his death in the trailer and he was like one of the first to go. So
Ryan's?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really disappointing. You get an A-list actor like Ryan Reynolds?
Well, yeah, and like I said, they literally show it in the trailer. That was like the first trailer they came out with. They show the creature going in his mouth and it's like, wow, okay, so he dies.
That's so disappointing. You know what? I'm gonna break formula here. We're not talking about Ryan Reynolds for like 5 minutes because I just gotta say I fucking hate movie trailers, man.
They can be so bad. They can be. They can be very, very bad. You know what?
You're going to tell me the whole plot of the movie before I even see the movie?
How about this? Because that is actually a really good point, and that is 100% something we should definitely... I think that should be the next episode.
All right. Tune in next week when we talk about why movie trailers are kind of crap.
Movie trailers will ruin movies, hands down. That will be next week's episode. Be sure to tune into that.
All right, back on track with Ryan Reynolds.
Right. Ryan Reynolds, he... Like I said, he has this energy, he has this charisma. It's over 9,000 at this point.
What a reference!
He is just incredibly, he's cool. He's a really cool guy, and it seems like he's a really cool guy to work with. And a lot of people, gravitate towards that. It kind of brings up the whole thing that we addressed when we were talking about Tom Holland, is that a lot of people, in terms of the Hollywood industry and just fans or just the general consumer, really likes the nice guy, the funny guy, the nice and funny guy that has like super duper high energy, the kind of guy that goes friggin' bouncing off the walls and everyone's like, oh my god, he's so funny, I love him. So I think that people just gravitate towards Ryan Reynolds at this point because they've seen him in Deadpool and Deadpool 2 and they're like, oh my god, like he can be absolutely hilarious. So if he's in a comedy and they see Ryan Reynolds in a comedy, suddenly it's like, oh, we're going to get Deadpool-esque comedy where he's going to be just whipping out friggin' pop culture references and quippy lines and all that stuff, and the writers know this, so they milk that.
And if they don't, then it's not a successful movie.
Yeah, and it makes it 100%. And I don't blame people for wanting that because
it is funny.
Yeah, like I said, it is funny. Even in Hobbs and Shaw, I did laugh when he had his lines, and he was only there a few times, and he did make me laugh a few times, but
the problem with it, I think, is that it's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
You can only do that for so long.
They won't stick with you. Yeah, they're not like. At the end of, for like example, at the end of Hobbs and Shaw, like, I thought the movie was fun. I actually liked it more than most Fast and Furious movies for the past, like, 4 or 5 years.
Wow, that's some high praise.
But, I mean, I remembered every other scene in that movie besides his. Like, they're throwaway... Really? Yeah, because I don't even remember...
That's so disappointing. You can't get Ryan Reynolds and just have some throwaway dialogue.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like, because, we talk about Deadpool. I mean, come on. Like, in Deadpool 2, when Cable's like, who are you? And Deadpool's like, I'm Batman. and then, he gets thrown off the mountain. And then, in the first movie, he's looking for Francis. And, he has so many funny lines. And you can remember a decent amount of them. And even when you watch them, you can watch it over and over again and still be incredibly entertained.
Yeah, they're very
at his
repeatable.
jokes, and they're funny. Yeah, they're absolutely funny.
Ryan Reynolds movies are ones that I continue to go back to because they're feel good movies.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, you know, we don't want. I don't think that every movie should stick with you 100%. I don't think, you know, if a movie fails to do that, it's automatically terrible.
No, definitely not.
But
Movies have other merit besides just stay with you value.
like a nice little distraction or anything like that. Like, say, you know, you come home from work and you just friggin' you had like the worst day ever. So, you know, a lot of us have had those days, and you come home, you want to watch like a feel good movie or anything like that. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is there. That dude can cheer anyone up. And that's what I think is great, is that he genuinely has like a fantastic time on set. You know, he messes around with the crew members, he messes around with the actors. It all around seems like a really, really fun, you know, time, both on screen and behind screen, behind the camera. And I think that's great. I'm glad.
Seems like a really down to earth.
He really does. I mean, he has that feud with Hugh Jackman that
which is so funny.
Yeah, that a lot of people like know, and like, you know, it's just one big joke.
One big joke that they can't stand each other, that they're always working against each other.
Yep.
Wolverine versus Deadpool.
I mean, you got the meme that was born when Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal told Ryan Reynolds it was a sweater party,
and then it absolutely wasn't.
Yeah, it was Ryan Reynolds wearing a ugly Christmas sweater while everyone else is just wearing like basic clothing. Because you know that meme, right? Like both of them laughing at each other, and Ryan Reynolds just sitting in the middle, like
bored as all heck.
Yeah, like it's great. Like, I love that he has these. He has this kind of, you know, banter and. These interactions between other actors. He's messed around with Dwayne Johnson a few times, and
was that true?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, during like the filming and stuff, like I remember Dwayne Johnson posting something about how it was incredibly fun working with Ryan Reynolds, and how, you know, he had him laughing like so many times during set that it was, or during filming, that it was really hard to actually get a take in. And like, that's great. I absolutely think that's one of the main reasons why Ryan Reynolds is a really, really likable guy, and he absolutely is. I think the only thing, to me, I would just like to see him in more, similar to Tom Holland in a way, where it's like, I would like to see him in more serious roles.
I wonder if that's something that he wants.
That's a good point, too. I mean, if he doesn't want it, I mean, because he has absolutely found his calling.
He found his niche and he's sticking to it.
100%. And if he doesn't want to do any serious movies, that is perfectly fine. There's no problems at all. But there
is still that curiosity.
Yeah, like me personally, I really like seeing when an actor gets, you know, thrown to the wolves, if you will, and then all of a sudden is like transformed in another genre. And a perfect example of this would be Robert Pattinson
within The Lighthouse.
Yeah, between Twilight and then gravitating towards The Lighthouse.
I really don't think you could give me any two different movies. Like those are so opposite end of the movie spectrum.
Yeah, one's fantastic and the other ones just aren't. But like,
yeah, the Twilight Saga really was fantastic.
You're right. So, you know, yeah, like I'm entertained by it, especially if it's done right. Like when Robert Pattinson was on screen, suddenly I was like, oh my god, I actually genuinely like him a lot. And now I don't have a problem with him being Batman. And then, like, I would kind of, me personally, would like to see Ryan Reynolds, you know, in something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, you know, crazy. He has been in horror movies before. And he wasn't terrible in the Amityville Horror. It was just overall not a great movie. Mm-hmm. So I guess if anything, the stars need to align for the right movie to show up that isn't a comedy that he ends up gravitating towards, or someone contacts him about it.
Do you know if Ryan Reynolds sings at all?
I don't know.
An interesting thought just popped into my head is
what?
Because we were talking about Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and Hugh Jackman is really big into the musical theater scene right now.
Right.
And I think that would just be a really, really almost weird crossover, right? Like if Ryan Reynolds got into the music theater scene with Hugh Jackman.
That would be really funny.
Not saying that's going to happen, but like if it did, I'd watch that.
That would be really interesting, yeah, because it'd be like it would kind of feel like Dwayne Johnson and Moana, where it's like, where suddenly you're like, wait, he can really, no way,
and then it's almost like, well, I gotta see it now.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was one of the main reasons I wanted to see Moana in the first place. Is like, all right, Dwayne Johnson in a Disney musical, all right,
gotta see this.
Yeah. So I think that would absolutely be a very interesting. Like, what kind of, aside from like a musical thing, like what kind of genre do you think he may or may not thrive, or you personally would like to see him in?
Well, he was just in Detective Pikachu, which was a mix of like, comedy, video game, and mystery movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly wouldn't put it past him to be a good mystery movie, or sorry, a good detective character. Like, I would love to see him play a human detective so that I could see him flex those muscles a little bit more. It's just curious to me that his first role in that genre was Detective Pikachu, and I hope that it's like a catalyst for going further. I hope that he doesn't stop there, because it was just captivating watching him figure it out. It's gonna feel really weird to say this, but there was a lot of emotion in Pikachu.
There was. I genuinely liked Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu and in Detective Pikachu. I don't blame you.
And so I think that he could pull off a detective.
He could. I mean, and technically he wasn't Pikachu for a little bit, because he was also the father or whatever.
Yes, at the end of the movie he does come out as what's the guy's name?
I don't remember the actual guy's name.
Well, he comes out as the dad.
Yeah.
Daddy Pikachu.
But that would be fun too. It'd be kind of like if he was in one of Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient, or like Death on the Nile, or anything like that.
Yeah.
That'd be like a fun little. That would be really cool, because I mean, we've seen, like, for example, in Murder on the Orient, we've seen like Josh Gad in like Murder on the Orient, and like,
which, for anyone who doesn't know, is Olaf from Frozen.
Yes. So I mean, it's not an entirely original thing to have someone in the realm of comedy transition to something a little bit more serious, like a murder mystery, and we've seen comedians gravitate towards like the exact opposite of their genre. For example, Jordan Peele with
horror
movies such as Get Out and Us, and then John Krasinski directing A Quiet Place 2, David McBride with Halloween, and all that stuff. So I definitely think that it would be really cool to see Ryan in something like a murder mystery. That would be very entertaining. Actually, you know what? I think he probably would have been... I don't know. I feel like he would have been really fun to see in Knives Out.
I was just thinking that too, because Knives Out has a lot of really like zany, Clue-esque characters where it's like, put him in a colorful suit, give him a really weird accent, and just let him go crazy. Yeah. And I think Ryan Reynolds could really raise some hell with that.
Oh, absolutely.
You just put him in a funny costume and you say, all right, go crazy now. Like... that is the man to do it.
Yeah, because he is absolutely capable of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those actors, and we've kind of had that trend with Take 47, where we talk about actors where the actors that we've talked about, the director, I feel, could easily just go up to them and be like, do your thing, and they absolutely would just automatically click, understand.
So many times that is when we get the best performances.
Absolutely. I mean...
I'm not saying that directors pushing actors is bad, because that also reaps bountiful performances.
Absolutely.
But, like, if you just let your performers go, it's so peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so... They have this energy that it's freeing. And you can tell when an actor isn't being, like, you need to do this and you need to do it this way.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a whole different demeanor.
I completely agree. And, Ryan is one of those people that I think is absolutely capable of doing that. I would like to see him in more, and I know you would too.
There is one more thing I want to bring up, and this isn't even about a movie that he was in, but just in regards to the whole, global pandemic that we're still in here. back in March, and maybe even a little bit before that. Do you know about Mint Mobile, Mint Wireless?
No, what?
Yeah.
Do tell.
So you know things like Cricket Wireless and like
yeah,
Walmart
like
prepaid phones.
Boost Mobile and all that stuff. Yeah.
Really affordable phones for like burner phones almost. And Ryan Reynolds bought Mint Mobile. He just went and actually bought Mint Mobile, which is one of those low budget
Like the
phone
whole
companies.
company?
He bought the entire company.
Why?
I don't know what his motivation behind buying the company was, but here's the thing that's really cool, is that when the global pandemic started, anyone who was already a Mint Mobile customer, they got like a year free with their phone bill.
That's awesome.
He just gave everyone
That
like a free subscription to Mint Wireless, and like say whatever the fool you want about his movies, but that is awesome.
That is absolutely awesome.
You gotta respect that.
Absolutely. I didn't even know that was a thing, or maybe I did. I don't know. 2020 has been the fastest and then the slowest year at the same time. Like, I don't even
remarkable
remember.
how that is. But yes, look up Ryan Reynolds Mint Wireless if you haven't read about it. It is worthwhile.
Damn. I also want to try his gin.
He makes gin?
He has gin. I think it's called like Aviator or something like that.
You know what? Actually, now that you say the name, that does ring a bell. I have heard about that.
Yeah, because him and I want to say that I think that was the post that Dwayne Johnson had, because Dwayne has his own tequila.
Yes.
And I want to say it was him and Ryan drinking Terramana and Aviator. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
That's so cute.
But yeah, absolutely. I hope that that's the case. It's adorable. So, so yeah, that basically concludes our little episode of talking about Ryan Reynolds and why, despite, my personal grievances with just maybe the writing material that has actually been, gifted to him.
Still a great actor.
Yeah, no, I still love him. I don't hate him at all. There's no ill will towards the guy. And then of course what you said about Mint Wireless.
Mint Wireless.
Yeah,
Mint Mobile.
yeah. Mint Mobile. That's incredibly cool. I think that's just sick. So
it is just sick. In conclusion, Ryan Reynolds, really respectable guy. Maybe has a couple of flop movies, but in the end, it's a person to keep going back to.
Yeah, he's an absolute good sport about it too. Thank you all so much for listening.
We hope you enjoyed.
And we will see you, of course, on the next Take 47. Peace out, guys.